Embark on a transformative journey, delving deep into the ancient wellspring of Stoic philosophy to discover how to navigate the turbulent waters of disrespect with unwavering grace and inner strength. Disrespect, a ubiquitous challenge faced by all in the labyrinth of life, often evokes feelings of frustration, anger, and profound upset. But what if, armed with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we could not only weather these storms but also emerge from them stronger, more resilient, and more self-aware? In this exploration, we will unpack 10 practical Stoic principles, meticulously crafted to equip you with the tools necessary to cope with disrespect in a constructive, empowering manner, transforming potential sources of pain into opportunities for profound personal growth. Brace yourself to cultivate inner fortitude and journey with us to the very end, because within these ancient teachings lies the key to unlocking your own unwavering resilience. Our exploration commences with a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, maintaining inner calm amidst the chaos. One of the core tenets of Stoicism rests on the profound understanding that external events, including instances of disrespect, do not inherently possess the power to disturb us. Rather, it is our interpretation of these events, the judgments we attach to them, that trigger our emotional responses. As the esteemed Stoic philosopher Epictetus astutely observed, people are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. This powerful insight underscores the transformative potential of shifting our perspective. Disrespect, in and of itself, is neither inherently harmful nor intrinsically offensive. It is our individual interpretation and subsequent judgment of the act that ignite feelings of hurt, anger, and resentment. When confronted with disrespect, consciously remind yourself that the perpetrator's behavior is fundamentally a manifestation of their own internal landscape, their unique thoughts, complex feelings, and subjective opinions. Their actions are not an accurate reflection of your true value or intrinsic worth. This simple yet profound understanding can serve as a powerful shield, enabling you to maintain your composure and prevent their disrespect from negatively impacting your emotional equilibrium. How can we practically cultivate this state of serene detachment? The answer lies in consciously choosing to reframe the situation. Instead of immediately reacting with anger or defensiveness, take a deliberate step back and analyze the event with a detached, objective lens. Acknowledge the disrespect, but consciously resist the urge to personalize it or interpret it as a direct attack on your character. Recognize that the other person's behavior is likely rooted in their own internal struggles, insecurities, or biases, which have very little to do with you. By adopting this perspective, you create the space necessary to respond with reason and wisdom, rather than impulsive emotion. Imagine, for example, that a colleague makes a dismissive remark about your work during a meeting. Your initial reaction might be to feel personally offended, interpreting their comment as a sign that they don't value your contributions. However, by applying the Stoic principle of maintaining calm, you can pause and consider alternative explanations. Perhaps your colleague is feeling insecure about their own performance, or perhaps they simply have a different perspective on the project. By recognizing that their comment is likely a reflection of their own internal state, you can avoid taking it personally and respond with a calm, professional demeanor. This might involve asking clarifying questions, presenting your own perspective with confidence, or simply choosing to let the comment pass without engaging in a heated debate. The key is to maintain your composure and avoid allowing their disrespect to derail your emotional state. Building upon the foundation of inner calm, we move towards the crucial practice of self-reflection, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism places immense value on the continuous examination of one's own thoughts, actions, and motivations, emphasizing the belief that the quality of our inner landscape directly shapes the quality of our lives. The Stoics fervently believed that we should constantly strive to improve ourselves, refine our character, and align our actions with our core values. As the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In the face of disrespect, this principle of self-reflection becomes particularly salient. It is essential to turn your gaze inward, engaging in a process of honest self-examination to gain a deeper understanding of the situation and your own role within it. Begin by asking yourself a series of probing questions, designed to illuminate the underlying dynamics of the interaction. Is there any element of truth in what the person said or did? This is not about self-blame, but about honestly assessing whether there is any validity to their criticism. Perhaps their disrespect, however poorly delivered, contains a kernel of constructive feedback that you can use to improve yourself. Did I do or say anything that might have inadvertently provoked this situation? Consider whether your own words or actions might have contributed to the other person's disrespectful behavior. This could involve unintentional misunderstandings, differences in communication styles, or even unconscious biases that you might hold. How can I respond in a way that is consistent with my values and virtues? This question is central to the Stoic approach. It encourages you to align your response with your core principles, such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. By striving to embody these virtues, you can ensure that your actions are guided by reason and integrity, even in the face of disrespect. Imagine, for instance, that you are subjected to a personal attack during a public forum. Your initial impulse might be to retaliate with equal force, defending yourself aggressively and attempting to discredit your attacker. However, by engaging in self-reflection, you can pause and consider a more virtuous response. You might recognize that your attacker is driven by their own insecurities or biases, and that responding in kind would only perpetuate the cycle of negativity. Instead, you could choose to remain calm, acknowledge their concerns without engaging in personal attacks, and present your own perspective with clarity and reason. This approach not only demonstrates your own inner strength and integrity but also has the potential to de-escalate the conflict and foster a more productive dialogue. By reflecting on yourself and the situation objectively, you can gain a more nuanced understanding of the event and your own role in it. Self-reflection, in essence, is a Stoic method of ensuring that your responses are rooted in rational judgment, rather than impulsive reactions driven by uncontrolled emotions. It empowers you to learn from challenging situations, promote personal growth, and cultivate wisdom. Moving forward, we encounter the critical skill of pausing before reacting, a powerful technique for managing emotional responses and making rational decisions. The Stoics placed a high premium on self-control and rationality, recognizing that impulsive reactions driven by intense emotions, such as anger, frustration, or fear, often lead to poor judgments, regrettable actions, and unnecessary suffering. Seneca, the renowned Stoic philosopher, aptly observed, "Whenever you are angry, be assured that it is not only a present evil, but that you have increased a habit." This highlights the potential for impulsive reactions to become ingrained patterns of behavior, further exacerbating their negative consequences. When confronted with disrespect, the Stoic approach explicitly encourages you to resist the urge to react impulsively. Instead, take a deliberate pause, even if it's just for a few seconds, to collect your thoughts and regain control over your emotions. This brief pause allows you to create a space between the stimulus, the disrespectful act, and your response, giving you the opportunity to make a conscious choice about how you will react. This pause can take various forms. It might involve taking a deep breath to calm your nervous system, silently counting to 10 to regain composure, or physically stepping away from the situation to gain perspective. The specific technique is less important than the intention, to disrupt the automatic, emotional response and create an opportunity for rational thought to prevail. By resisting the impulse to react immediately, you can better align your response with Stoic principles of wisdom and self-control. This often leads to more constructive, less emotionally charged interactions, fostering understanding and potentially preventing escalation of the conflict. Imagine, for example, that you receive a scathing email from a colleague criticizing your work. Your immediate reaction might be to fire back an equally critical response, defending your actions and attacking their competence. However, by pausing before reacting, you can avoid this impulsive response and consider a more measured approach. You might choose to wait a few hours before responding, allowing your emotions to subside. During this time, you can carefully analyze the email, identify the specific points of criticism, and formulate a thoughtful response that addresses their concerns without resorting to personal attacks. By resisting the urge to react immediately, you can maintain your composure, de-escalate the situation, and potentially foster a more productive working relationship. When faced with disrespect, pausing is a key Stoic strategy to maintain composure, promote rational decision-making, and ultimately lead to more positive outcomes and personal growth. Building on the foundation of measured responses, we arrive at the essential practice of cultivating empathy, a crucial element in navigating challenging interpersonal interactions. Epictetus, a highly influential Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of seeking good within oneself, rather than relying on external factors for fulfillment. He urged individuals to seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves. This inward focus extends to our understanding of others, suggesting that true connection and meaningful interactions arise from recognizing the shared humanity that binds us. Stoics believe in the interconnectedness of humanity, recognizing that understanding the motivations, emotions, and perspectives of others can lead to improved interactions and personal growth. When confronted with disrespect, Stoicism encourages the practice of empathy, attempting to put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand their perspective. Empathy involves actively trying to see the situation from their point of view, considering their background, experiences, and current emotional state. This does not necessarily mean agreeing with their behavior or condoning their disrespect, but rather seeking to understand the underlying factors that might be contributing to it. Empathy can help you see the situation from a different angle and realize that the person's disrespect may not be personal or intentional. It may be caused by their own insecurities, fears, anxieties, or ignorance. Understanding the potential sources of their behavior can help you to detach emotionally and avoid taking their actions personally. Empathy can also help you feel compassion for the person, even if you don't approve of their behavior. Recognizing that they are likely struggling with their own challenges can reduce your negative feelings towards them, fostering a sense of understanding and even forgiveness. By empathizing with the person who disrespected you, you can avoid taking their words or actions personally, responding instead in a more respectful and dignified manner. Empathy allows you to understand the person's perspective, feelings, and motivations, enabling you to tailor your response in a way that is both assertive and compassionate. Instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, you can respond with kindness, respect, and a genuine attempt to understand their point of view. This approach not only avoids escalating the conflict but also allows you to maintain your own dignity and integrity. Empathy reflects the Stoic principles of wisdom, compassion, and self-improvement. It enables you to learn from challenging situations, grow as a person, and cultivate more meaningful relationships. By practicing empathy, you can cope with disrespect in a more positive and constructive way, transforming potential sources of conflict into opportunities for understanding and connection. As we continue to deepen our understanding of the Stoic approach to disrespect, we arrive at the central concept of concentrating on virtue, the guiding principle for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. One of the core ideas of Stoicism is the development and cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These are the qualities that help us live well, act rightly, and navigate the complexities of life with integrity and purpose. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously wrote that virtue is nothing else than right reason. This profound statement implies that being virtuous is synonymous with being rational, acting in accordance with reason, and aligning oneself with the natural order of things. The Stoics believe that virtue is the highest good in life, the ultimate source of happiness and fulfillment. Everything else, wealth, fame, pleasure, even health, they consider to be indifferent, meaning that they have no intrinsic value in themselves and should not be pursued as primary goals. When we face disrespect from others, Stoicism teaches us to focus on virtue in our response. This does not mean that we should passively ignore or tolerate disrespect, allowing ourselves to be treated poorly. Rather, it means that we should respond in a way that reflects our Stoic values and principles, striving to embody wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance in our actions. By focusing on virtue, we can avoid being swayed by our emotions, maintain our dignity and integrity, and grow as a person. This approach requires conscious effort and a commitment to acting in accordance with our values, even when it is difficult. It means choosing to respond with reason and compassion, rather than anger and resentment, even when we feel hurt or offended. Imagine, for example, that you are unfairly criticized by a supervisor at work. Your initial impulse might be to become defensive, argue with them, or even seek revenge. However, by focusing on virtue, you can choose a more constructive response. You might calmly and respectfully explain your perspective, providing evidence to support your claims. You might also seek to understand their concerns and find a solution that addresses their needs while maintaining your own integrity. By acting in accordance with virtue, you not only demonstrate your own inner strength and character but also set an example for others, potentially influencing their behavior and fostering a more positive and respectful work environment. Stoicism challenges us to be the best version of ourselves, even in the face of adversity. By concentrating on virtue, we can transform challenging situations into opportunities for growth, demonstrating our commitment to living a life of meaning, purpose, and integrity. From virtue, we shift our focus to embracing acceptance, a powerful tool for navigating the uncertainties and unavoidable challenges of life. One of the key lessons of Stoicism is the importance of accepting the things that are not within our control. The Stoics recognized that many aspects of life are beyond our influence, including external events, the actions of others, and even our own physical limitations. Trying to control these things is not only futile but also leads to frustration, anxiety, and a sense of powerlessness. Epictetus, in his teachings, emphasized the importance of gratitude and focusing on what we have, rather than dwelling on what we lack. He famously stated, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This underscores the Stoic practice of appreciating the present moment and finding contentment in what we possess, rather than constantly striving for more or lamenting what is missing. Stoicism also teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not, a concept known as the Stoic dichotomy of control. According to this principle, we can only control our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. We cannot control external events or the behavior of others. Therefore, when we face disrespect, we should not let it disrupt our inner peace. Instead, we should accept it as a part of life and focus on what we can do to improve ourselves and our situation. This acceptance does not mean that we condone disrespect or passively allow ourselves to be mistreated. It means that we acknowledge that disrespect exists in the world and that we cannot always prevent it from happening. However, we can control how we respond to it. We can choose to react with anger, resentment, and a desire for revenge, or we can choose to respond with calm, reason, and a commitment to our values. By accepting disrespect with stoicism, we can avoid unnecessary anger, frustration, and resentment. We can also learn from the experience, grow as a person, and cultivate inner peace. Imagine, for example, that you are subjected to constant microaggressions at work, subtle but hurtful comments or actions that demean your identity. You cannot control the behavior of your colleagues, and you cannot force them to be more respectful. However, you can control how you respond to their actions. You can choose to become consumed by anger and resentment, or you can choose to accept the situation and focus on what you can do to protect yourself and thrive. This might involve setting clear boundaries, documenting the incidents, seeking support from allies, and focusing on your own work and accomplishments. By accepting the reality of the situation and focusing on what you can control, you can maintain your inner peace, protect your well-being, and ultimately create a more positive and fulfilling work experience. This helps us to deal with disrespect in a rational and calm way, transforming potential sources of pain into opportunities for resilience and growth. Building on the principles of acceptance and inner control, we explore the surprising and often overlooked power of using humor as a coping mechanism. While Stoicism emphasizes seriousness, rationality, and emotional control, it also recognizes the value of humor in navigating challenging situations and maintaining a balanced perspective. As the ancient philosopher Seneca wisely stated, "You have mastered yourself when you know how to deal with what you should not take seriously." This suggests that the ability to find humor in life's absurdities is a sign of emotional maturity and self-mastery. Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions and act rationally, but it also recognizes that sometimes a little laughter can go a long way in diffusing tension, maintaining perspective, and preserving our emotional well-being. Humor can help us keep our emotional balance and avoid getting too angry or annoyed when someone disrespects us. Instead of letting our emotions get the best of us, we can choose to respond with a witty remark, a playful joke, or a self-deprecating observation. This approach can help to lighten the mood, disarm the other person, and prevent the situation from escalating into a conflict. Of course, humor should not be used inappropriately or excessively. It is important to be mindful of the context, the audience, and the potential impact of your words. Sarcasm, mockery, and personal attacks are not in line with Stoic principles and should be avoided. However, when used skillfully and with good intentions, humor can be a powerful Stoic technique to handle disrespect in a way that creates a more positive and peaceful outcome. Imagine, for example, that someone makes a rude comment about your appearance. Your initial reaction might be to feel hurt, embarrassed, or angry. However, instead of reacting defensively, you could choose to respond with a humorous remark. You might say something like, "Well, at least my hair is having a good day." This light-hearted response can help to diffuse the tension, show that you are not easily offended, and even make the other person reconsider their behavior. However, using humor skillfully requires a delicate balance and a keen awareness of the situation. You must avoid sarcasm or mockery, which could escalate the conflict. Focus instead on self-deprecating humor or light-hearted observations that acknowledge the situation without taking it too seriously. The goal is to create a more positive and peaceful atmosphere, not to demean or belittle the other person. By using humor wisely, you can maintain your emotional balance, protect your inner peace, and even foster a sense of connection with others, transforming potential sources of conflict into opportunities for light-hearted interaction. From the subtle art of humor, we transition to the assertive practice of setting clear boundaries, a crucial element in maintaining self-respect and navigating interpersonal relationships with integrity. Stoicism is often misunderstood as a philosophy of passive acceptance, encouraging individuals to endure mistreatment without protest. However, this is a fundamental misinterpretation. Stoicism is not about being a doormat, passively allowing others to walk all over you. It is about being a rock, a steadfast presence that remains firm in the face of disrespect and injustice. It is about knowing your worth, demanding respect from others, and controlling what you can while letting go of what you cannot. When someone disrespects you, you are not obligated to tolerate their behavior. You do not have to lie down and accept mistreatment. However, you also do not have to lash out in anger or resort to aggression. You can respond with calm assertiveness, setting clear boundaries that protect your dignity and self-respect. This involves clearly communicating your expectations, stating what behavior you will not tolerate, and outlining the consequences for violating those boundaries. Setting clear boundaries requires self-awareness, courage, and a commitment to upholding your own values. It means knowing what is important to you, what you are willing to tolerate, and what you will not accept. It also means being able to communicate your needs and expectations in a clear, respectful, and assertive manner. Imagine, for example, that a colleague consistently interrupts you during meetings, dismissing your ideas and talking over you. You can choose to passively endure this behavior, allowing them to continue disrespecting you. However, a Stoic approach would involve setting a clear boundary. You might say something like, "I've noticed that I'm often interrupted when I'm speaking in meetings. I value my contributions and I expect to be heard. In the future, if this happens again, I will politely but firmly ask you to allow me to finish speaking." This statement clearly communicates your expectation, identifies the unacceptable behavior, and outlines the consequence for violating the boundary. By setting clear and reasonable boundaries, you demonstrate your self-respect, protect your dignity, and create a more positive and productive environment for yourself and others. This is what Stoicism teaches us: to be strong, just, and courageous, to respect ourselves and others, and to maintain our inner control and our outer dignity in any situation. As we delve deeper into the Stoic toolbox for navigating disrespect, we arrive at the profound and often challenging practice of choosing forgiveness. Imagine a scenario where someone has deeply disrespected you, causing significant emotional pain and perhaps even tangible harm. How do you react? Do you harbor resentment, plotting revenge, or dwelling on the injustice? Or do you seek a path towards healing and inner peace? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a powerful perspective on this fundamental human challenge. Stoics believe that forgiveness is not merely a favor granted to the offender, but rather a precious gift bestowed upon oneself. It is a key to unlocking inner peace and happiness, freeing oneself from the shackles of anger, resentment, and bitterness. However, the Stoics also recognize that forgiveness is not always easy or straightforward. It does not mean condoning or approving of the harmful behavior, nor does it require forgetting what happened. It means consciously choosing to release the negative emotions that are harming you more than anyone else, allowing you to move forward with a sense of inner freedom and tranquility. The process of forgiveness, according to Stoicism, begins with understanding. Seek to understand the motivations and circumstances that led to the disrespectful behavior. This does not excuse their actions, but it can help you to detach emotionally and see them with greater compassion. Recognize that they are likely struggling with their own challenges, insecurities, or biases, and that their behavior is a reflection of their own internal state. Stoics also emphasize the importance of focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to hold on to anger and resentment, or you can choose to forgive and free yourself from the burden of negative emotions. This act of choosing forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, it is a testament to your strength, resilience, and self-mastery. It is a conscious decision to prioritize your own well-being and move forward with a sense of inner peace. Stoicism teaches us to forgive all, but not indiscriminately. We should forgive wisely, with compassion and justice. This means that we should not forgive those who continue to harm us or show no remorse for their actions. However, for those who are genuinely remorseful or who have made amends for their behavior, forgiveness can be a powerful catalyst for healing and reconciliation. Forgiveness, in the Stoic sense, is not a weakness but a strength, not a surrender, but a victory, not a sacrifice, but a reward. It is the ultimate act of self-care and personal growth, allowing you to break free from the cycle of negativity and embrace a life of greater peace, purpose, and joy. Imagine, for example, that a close friend betrays your trust, sharing a secret that you confided in them with others. Your initial reaction might be to feel deeply hurt, angry, and betrayed, vowing never to speak to them again. However, a Stoic approach would involve seeking a path towards forgiveness. This might involve having an honest conversation with your friend, expressing your feelings and seeking an explanation for their behavior. It might also involve recognizing that everyone makes mistakes, and that holding on to anger and resentment will only harm you in the long run. By choosing to forgive your friend, you are not condoning their betrayal, but rather freeing yourself from the burden of negative emotions and opening the door to potential healing and reconciliation. This act of forgiveness is a gift to yourself, allowing you to move forward with a greater sense of inner peace and freedom. Finally, we arrive at the culminating principle in our Stoic exploration, cultivating a transformative shift in perspective. Perspective, in essence, is the ability to see things from a broader, more objective vantage point. It empowers you to avoid overreacting to minor setbacks, prevents you from taking things too personally, and enables you to navigate the complexities of life with greater equanimity and wisdom. When someone disrespects you, perspective allows you to realize that their behavior is not necessarily a reflection of your worth or inherent value. It is often a manifestation of their own internal struggles, insecurities, or limitations. As the Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." This underscores the profound influence of our mindset on our overall experience. By consciously choosing to cultivate a more positive and objective perspective, we can transform our perception of events and create a more fulfilling and peaceful life. When you cultivate perspective, you can see that most instances of disrespect are relatively minor and temporary, not affecting your true worth or overall happiness. You can also recognize that disrespectful behavior is often a reflection of the other person's ignorance, insecurity, or weakness, rather than a true assessment of your character. This understanding allows you to detach emotionally, avoid taking things personally, and respond with greater calm and wisdom. You can choose to ignore the disrespect, forgive it, or learn from it, rather than letting it bother you or consume your thoughts. Perspective also helps you to focus on what really matters in life, your goals, values, and virtues. You can use your energy and time to pursue what is good and meaningful for you, rather than wasting them on resentment, revenge, or dwelling on the negative behavior of others. By doing so, you can live a more fulfilling, purposeful, and peaceful life. Imagine, for example, that you receive negative feedback on a project at work. Your initial reaction might be to feel discouraged, inadequate, or even angry at your supervisor for their criticism. However, by cultivating perspective, you can reframe the situation and see it in a more objective light. You can recognize that the feedback, while perhaps not delivered perfectly, is likely intended to help you improve your work and develop your skills. You can also acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes, and that receiving constructive criticism is an essential part of the learning process. By focusing on the opportunity for growth and improvement, rather than dwelling on the negative aspects of the feedback, you can transform a potentially discouraging experience into a valuable learning opportunity. So, the next time you face disrespect, remember to utilize the power of perspective. It will help you to keep your cool, act wisely, and maintain your focus on what truly matters. In conclusion, remember that Stoicism is not about suppressing your emotions or passively accepting mistreatment. It is about managing your emotions effectively, responding with reason and wisdom, and focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and values. By applying these 10 Stoic principles, you can navigate the challenges of disrespect with greater grace, resilience, and inner peace, transforming potential sources of pain into opportunities for profound personal growth. Embrace the wisdom of the ages, cultivate your inner strength, and embark on a journey towards a more fulfilling, purposeful, and meaningful life. Always remember that Stoicism is not about suppressing your emotions but managing them well.